Good morning. It's 11 o'clock a.m. on October 14th, 2023 on a Tuesday. I'm almost got a audio confirmation here. You're not going to hear it when that starts coming through. Yada, yada, yada. Come on, come through. There it is. Yep, I got audio confirmation. Take a quick look at chat. I'm going to bring Zoom in pretty soon. So those of you in Zoom, get ready for that. I'm just taking a quick glance through the chat. Brian Lightfoot, all this fuss about annular solar eclipse. Annual solar eclipse. I don't see it. What is the main topic for today? No. What is the name of the host? Who is the host? No. Who is the problem? I don't have a problem. Why does that need explained? No. Why is the problem? Third place. I got halfway through, a little more than halfway through that, Brian, before I realized that was a spinoff from the trailer this morning, which was Abbott and Costello's Who's on First. It's out raining. Tony Wallow, $1.99 super chat. Thank you. Ida Rivera, Londa got to come in more early. Great video. Jonathan Williams saying hello to people. John says, awesome video. Great way to start off the weekend. So who is on third? No, John. I don't know. I don't know on third. Third is, I don't know. Who's on first? Yeah, right. John Williams, Jonathan, Ida, Tony, Rick, Jonathan Seldenball, Ken Stout, yeah, Rand Israel, Chris Garrett. I am here. I may not join Zoom, just going to watch. Jonathan, Rick Lakes, Tan Stout. Okay, here we come to Zoom. Get ready, Zoom, to mute your YouTube audio. I'm going to turn on my video so you can see me in Zoom and fix my microphone in Zoom so you can, let's see, which one is it? It's the, oh, I got my microphone there. I just got to unmute it. And then I cannot hear you yet. Then I will change my speaker setting in Zoom to my headphones and then bring you on screen. Now I'm going to unmute you for YouTube. I think I got that all right. Hello, William Dawson.
Hello.
And hello, Alex Cheek.
Hello, Doug.
I saw Alex in Zoom before the show started. I said, oh, I got to start with Alex. He looks like he's at some kind of new job or something, that he's a warehouse worker. And then I realized,
Yes,
no, that
Doug.
was a... Yes?
I have a lot of stuff that's been going on ever since last Sunday afternoon. There's been a lot of stuff going on around here, around my household. My dad has been a preacher for the past almost 30 years. He's been an ordained pastor on and off. Well, for quite a while, he hasn't been. He's just been filling in for different churches, and we've been going with him. Well, now one of those churches that's been looking for a pastor finally called him as pastor. So me and my mom are moving churches for the first time in 23 years.
Oh, wow. All right.
So, and also another thing besides that is whether this church knows it 100% right now or not, whether the new church realizes it. Because they called him as pastor, they also inherited a new IT guy.
Surprise,
because to my surprise, they have fiber internet, which I haven't been able to test yet, but I looked and saw the router and the connection was there. But surprise, they've got a printer, but no computer, no screen, no TV, no anything.
All right. Well, sounds like you got some fun times ahead of you, perhaps. And is your dad going to be the senior pastor?
Yes. This church is so small. This church is so small that the last time we were there and he preached, there was only 28 people.
All right. Well, it sounds like a good opportunity. Okay. I'm eager to move on to working on this computer I got behind me. Is that the end of your update?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. Let's see. In chat, I'm going to not go catch up on those because that's mostly chit chat. I'm going to get into this computer behind me, and I'll ask you in Zoom to keep yourself on mute until you want to speak up on something. So this computer behind me is the one I showed you, did a show and tell on yesterday. I have spoken with the client since then, and she approved the SSD installation and cleaning the computer up. So that's the main focus today, cleaning the computer up. I already have the image file restored to an SSD, and I was going to do that even if she did not approve the purchase of the SSD. I was going to do today's session with the SSD because it'll just run quicker for us to do some uninstalls and such. And for a quick look at the list of topics that I have published, because there's some other things that I'm going to that I intend to hit on while we have some waiting times, because while we're waiting for something to install, so on, we may get into some other things. Probably not going to do the USBDeview because that probably needs more time. There is the disable auto range for Windows File Explorer. I don't think we'll do that today. This is clean up Windows 10 environment for Barbara. And also, scheduled backup. So her spinning hard drive that's in this computer, I believe, is a 2 terabyte hard drive. So we're going to make that a second drive internal and have Macrim Reflect backups go to that on a scheduled basis. I'm not sure if we'll get to that today. I can keep the computer until Monday or Tuesday. So I might do that on Monday. If we don't get it today, managed by organization, your browser managed by organization. That was a topic that Alice brought up yesterday. Not sure that we'll get onto that today. I did some I did some looking around. Where do I see that from? And I could not find any place that I find that on my computer or a couple of my computers or a couple of computers that I checked on for clients.
I actually have that on my computer, on my Google Chrome. When I go to About Chrome or whatever to update Chrome, it shows me managed by organization.
Okay. Do you have a Google Chrome business, a Google business account, perhaps?
Well, I had my college account, but
Ah,
it's no longer signed into my Google Chrome. Only my
all right.
normal Gmail is.
All right. Well, I'd be very interested in exploring that with you, but maybe not today because I want to get this one done today. If we don't get to that today, would you be willing to let me connect remotely and show that symptom on your computer and let us explore that a little bit?
Yes.
All right, good. Thank you. Then moving along here, number 7, memory integrity cannot be turned on and core oscillation on BBB. On Big Beast build, I explored a little bit yesterday in relation with what Gary Weisenberger brought up at some point back. Was that Saturday? He was on Zoom when he said he thought it was a driver, and indeed that is the case. I have not fixed it yet. October commercials, about an hour into the show today. I plan to run a commercial again as part of my October experiment. And I just realized I'm going to mute for a moment and trigger a timer for that. Set timer called commercials.
For how long?
49 minutes.
Commercials timer, 49 minutes, starting now.
All right. Now I'm going to check and see if my mute button actually worked. Yeah, okay, my mute button did work. So when I said the trigger word, you didn't hear it. Norton LifeLock ending the future customers performing crypto mining. That was in relation to something that Sin Vicious, I think was the rest of the name, brought up. He sent some more information about that, and I found that intriguing. So we'll cover that at some point. Maybe not today. Okay, so now this computer, I've got this set up, I believe. Nope, I don't have it connected yet. Right. And the screen has gone dark on that. I've got it connected to that monitor. Oops, don't stick your finger in the fan, Doug. Sticking my finger in the fan was not a good idea.
That looks like a
No.
lot of HP computers I've worked on in the past and a lot of Dell computers.
Oh, yeah. It's an HP NV. Oh, faithful. And then, whoops, wrong keyboard. Get some more length on these wires. Certainly did not have that set up in advance sufficiently.
Oh. Doug, I wish I had all your space because just about every time I bring a computer in here, I frustrate myself because I barely have enough room for my
Yeah.
my setup. I have so many cords and cables and
There we go. Well, the keyboard hasn't woke up yet. Come on, keyboard. I hear the keyboard connecting. I think you probably heard. No, I don't know. Are you hearing the chime?
no.
I hear the chime in my headset when I plug this in.
Well, I'm not.
Oh, well, you're just hearing on Zoom. Yeah, so the microphone's not picking it up. They should be hearing it over YouTube. Yeah, YouTube says they hear the chimes. Okay. Let's go for option C for the keyboard. I've been using that keyboard. How about this way? Uh, hmm. Don't see the wireless mouse to go with this wireless keyboard. There it is. Getting my exercise. Jeez. Daco says, I have core isolation, but memory integrity can't be turned on because of 3 Huawei drivers. Yep, I've got a similar thing due to drivers, and so I'll be demonstrating that. Probably not today, but during the week. Ken Stout once again claiming he's not a professional. So better HPs, looks like an NV. Yes, it is. Now, do I have... anything. There it is. Okay, wireless keyboard and mouse connected to the computer, turned on, and no life. Oh, is that what's going on? So I've got two monitors connected. The mouse was over on the other monitor. All right, I'm going to restart the computer.
Make your computer.
I don't even get a restart option here. All right, force it, holding down the power button. I tried to press and release of the power button because depending upon the configuration of the computer, that should turn it off, but it did not. So I'm guessing the power button is not configured to turn off the computer. Yeah, Jim, I did look confused. Scrolling through chat, looking at messages, not reading them all, just trying to catch things. Hello, John Aloy, Speedy C. Some conversations about pies going on. Guess I might as well show me scrolling through chat while I'm waiting for that computer to start up. That's where I left off. One dog on his own without his wife. We heard you set the timer. Yeah, but you didn't hear me say the wake word. So I muted the microphone so I could say the wake word. You didn't hear that part, but you heard me set the timer because I unmuted for that part. Let's see if it's coming up here now. Where do I have responses? The wireless is not doing anything. Enter key on the wired keyboard works. Took entirely too long. All right, so here's the computer. Has a icon set to large.
Boy, that's an old version of Microsoft Office they've got on there.
Yeah, it is. And,
2007.
oh, is it?
Yeah, 2007. I've used about every version of Office since 2003.
Well, I've used every Office version since, I think they called it 97, or actually DOS. But I can't say that I wouldn't recognize them.
Well, the icons have changed so much, but ever since 2010, everything but the updates, everything but the icons have pretty much stayed the same.
All right. So you must have judged that from what, the Word, Microsoft Word icon?
Yes.
I don't even see it. Where is it?
Or the Excel icons, or because all the icons are different.
Oh, are you recognizing from the Excel icon? Because I don't see even a Word icon. I know she uses
Yes,
Excel.
but the
Yeah,
same thing is true.
there's your confirmation, Excel 2007. So very good.
I recognize it from the icon because any version of Office from greater than 2010 or from 2010 on, about the only thing noticeable they changed, other than doing minor updates, that I've noticed is the icon.
Yeah, all right. I see Tim Cruz in chat saying he got his cell booster working. Congratulations on that. Let's see, maximum eclipse coverage gone, come and gone. Oh, was today an eclipse day? Computers make you tear your hair out. Donko, I love all animal lovers. All right, now. And Tim says, yes, it was an eclipse day. Okay, so let's start with the quick, easy things. This this extra search junk here in this search field, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this one over here by the system tray. So right click, go to search. And I like to first remove the open on hover so that check mark isn't present, so that if it gets activated again, it at least won't have that search hover. So then turn off the search highlights. That's when we'll see this one down here in the search field disappear. And I actually am okay with leaving the search field open because she might be using that on my own computers. I turn it off and it comes back. I'll go, let's see if I click on that. That's a check mark that you have to actually click on something else. So if we say hidden, what I'll do is I'll press the Windows key and then just start typing and I get a search field that way. But as far as I know, she might be thrown for a loop when that search field is gone. So I'll leave the box there. And then what else down here? News and interest. Let's remove the open on hover and then come back and right click again in the taskbar and go to news and interest. And instead of showing icon and text, we'll turn that off. That's going to be this part down here is what we're turning off. And that was news and interest. Turn it off because that's taking up extra processor time as the computer's starting up. Here I am. I'm still here. And then this icon right here is to show the overflow. No, that's the desktop. There's no point in showing all these desktop icons here. So that's just an extra confusing thing to have there as far as I'm concerned. And that is on toolbars, I think. Yeah, desktop. So we turn that toolbar off, and I think that is an on and off toggle. So I click on that check mark, and yes, it goes away. So that's just cleaning up the extra clutter that's visible there. Yeah.
As far as and I know most people won't do this, but because I'm me with the search bar, I actually go one step further, and I go into the group policy, and I turn off the Bing search functionality in the search field in the taskbar, so that it only searches stuff on the computer.
All right. Well, that's interesting. So if you go in here and into search and let's see, gas stations. Search for gas stations. Am I not getting the Bing results you're expecting?
It says open results in browser. See, mine won't even do that. But it's just not giving you the preview.
Yeah, but it's not. I was expecting it to give me a bunch of search results. Now, another thing, like if I do some kind of math, typically I see other stuff come up, but this is actually showing a file on the computer. It appears. All right. Well, it doesn't look like
it may be her computer needs to be. It may be her computer needs to be updated.
It could be.
Able to.
Now the problem that brought the computer into me, although she didn't realize it, was a failed Windows update. So after cleaning all this stuff up, I've already got the SSD. One of the last things I'll want to do is to install updates and be sure it gets updated. I rather doubt that she's using this mail program, but since there is a number 1 there, I'm going to take that off screen for a moment. And, oh, since I have the other, I don't know if I'm going to be able to see that. No, I can't because I don't have, oh, what I need to do is duplicate monitors instead of having the monitors extended so that I can take her computer off screen and then deal with something on this other monitor. So for that, I'll right click, go to display settings, and change down here. Instead of extending, I'll have duplicate these displays and keep changes. So that way I can take that off screen and go look to see if she's using the Microsoft Mail program. Yeah, it is configured. Normally I take that off of the taskbar because my clients aren't using that. Most of my clients are using Outlook. We have a PCmatic icon here, and we'll be uninstalling PCmatic. We also have, let's see, TeamViewer. We'll be uninstalling that. The scanner, I don't know if she actually has a scanner. She might have, so we'll leave that present.
That has to do with the HP software. She has an HP printer. She's got that icon on there.
Yeah. And Avast will be uninstalling that. And there's also Skype that auto launches on startup. We'll be getting rid of that. We could go into add remove programs and uninstall programs from there. But what I had in mind doing was to do this through Autoruns, because I think there may be some other things launching on startup. We don't want to bring data over from another browser. Oh, I don't have this connected to the internet yet. My recollection is that this computer does have Wi-Fi, but I plugged it into an Ethernet instead. There it is, refresh. You can see I got to be careful about pressing the enter key. I keep hitting the backslash. So searching for Autoruns, I like to use Google search just because it's just my habit. And click on the link that takes us to the Microsoft website. And here's download Autoruns and Autoruns SC. So I'll click on that link. Connected to a new network. I'm going to trust the network, confirm the settings. Oh, that was Avast. We're going to get rid of Avast anyway. And this looks like this is something more that came up from Avast, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Did I get that download yet? Yeah, there it is. I'll go into that folder, have a look at what's showing in her downloads folder, and I'm going to move that file elsewhere. Moving it into the ever-present folder on HP computers called SW Setup. Paste it into there. right click on Autoruns.
Or if you install HP software on non-HP computers, like my printer.
Now so it's offering us WinZip. When I right click, and what I'm accustomed to is unzipping just from the Windows unzip. And if I open with WinZip, is it going to want me to sign in and license and all that? Yeah, trial has expired. So let's get rid of WinZip. That was Windows key R and then appwiz.cpl. And again, I missed the enter key. Speedy C, Doug, I used to a wireless keyboard and mouse for a while, but I went back to a wired keyboard mouse because of battery life. I'm a heavy user of my PC. Yeah, I've migrated some of my clients back to wired keyboard and mouse when they recurrently run into troubles with their wireless devices, and they don't need wireless keyboard and mouse. They have a convenient desk environment that they can have a wired keyboard and mouse, and it's not a
Well, you think
nuisance.
about this. I have a wireless mouse and a wired keyboard.
Well, that's fine too. I've seen that, wireless mouse and wired keyboard. Yeah, and you probably have a reason for doing that.
Because
right?
when I got
What's
this
your reason?
computer, I bought it. I wanted to buy a new keyboard because I wanted a backlit mechanical keyboard, but I didn't need to buy a new mouse.
Well, now here's something interesting. Where's the X in the upper right corner to close this? Okay, here we got full screen. There's something going on, and was that something? Here's we got the normal icons on the upper right. There's the normal icons in the upper right. Why didn't I have the normal icons shown there in the upper right a moment ago? That was weird. Okay, so now we got rid of WinZip. So now right click and we got the normal extract all. I see John Williams asking, is there a solution for HP computer at Uncle Kerry's studio? I checked in at the last of his video yesterday, and I think that is not solved yet. He's still waiting for the community to come up with their suggestions. Well, he hasn't. If he wanted to have it solved by now, it would be solved, but he's got more time available with it, as I understand, and he's waiting for thoughts from the community. How did you do
The only problem with the built-in unzip tool in Windows is it doesn't undo RAR files. It only does, as far as I know.
Oh, I see what I did there. Is I think I went into the zip file and tried to launch Autoruns. Yeah, here we go. And maximize that. It opens, I believe, on the Everything tab. This is everything that's auto-launching across all those different possible sources of auto-launch items. And what do we got here? This looks a little odd. What's this blank area on the bottom? Got a scroll bar right there. The window is maximized. Oh, is that something about Avast at the bottom? No, that's just a window that's showing information about the item that's highlighted right now. So these are items that are launching from the run key. in the current user software registry hive. And then this one is the run once key. And down here's the items from the run key in the local machine software registry hive. An alternate shell, and there's all a bunch of different things here that can be running. Now, what is it showing here? Avast, HP PhotoSmart. I'm suspecting that she does have that printer. Microsoft Edge Auto Launch. And then there's a OneDrive. Now, she's not aware that she has OneDrive functional. And OneDrive is there, but I'm suspecting she may not even have a Microsoft account. I'm going to go bring up, yeah, because Microsoft Word 2007, the whole Office suite, isn't Office 365 capable. They don't even use accounts. So we can uninstall that. There isn't as much clutter here as I thought there was going to be. Now we can deactivate things from in here. We can delete them. And that's a quick way to just test the results. So you can deactivate something or delete it, just remove the check mark so it doesn't launch anymore. Removing the check mark prevents it from launching. Right click and delete is actually going to delete it from that run key. But the better thing to do is to uninstall programs. I wanted to come in here and see what Autoruns tells us is present. Okay, so now I'm going to minimize that. And then we'll get to, let's close Edge. Close that. The last one, we'll go start uninstalling things. Sysinternals license terms. Agree to that, and it launches again. That might have been because when I actually launched it from that zip file, maybe it did actually launch. You can actually run programs from zip files under certain circumstances. Okay, so Windows key R appwiz.cpl. Where is it? I think I hit a wrong key again. Yeah, I put a backslash. All right, Avast. Let's get rid of that first, shall we? This has two dates. Avast 1 is October 2nd, and Avast Secure Browser is October 12th, just implying a update, I suppose. I'm not aware. I have not been able to come across any consistent, reliable guidelines which element of particular software you should uninstall first. I have come across some occasions where there are instructions for that. So I'm just going to get rid, yeah, we're going to get rid of both of them, Greg. Jeff Ryman, I have a wireless keyboard and wired mouse on my old HP Envy desktop. I tried a wireless Logitech keyboard mouse combo, would not work consistently. Delete browsing data, yes. Click uninstall. We're not going to repair. The default choice there, repair. Surprise, surprise. They're trying to keep us here. Long Dog, if OneDrive isn't being used, I would turn that off while you're here. I'm actually going to uninstall it. Jim says, this user isn't on my list of top 10 nightmares, but they seem to be trying so much crap that doesn't need to be there. And then go uninstall the next Avast. Now, Barbara knows that this, let's see, sign up for interview. No, we don't want to do that. Got to pay attention to this before I finish that thought. We're sorry to see you go. Uninstalling the product. I don't want to do either of those. Oh, we're just waiting for that to uninstall. 2%, 3%. So that's going to take a little while. She knows that this computer is not going to be capable for Windows 11, so she knows within the next 2 years she's going to buy a new computer, and she's fine with that. She's very happy that this computer is functional. I told her precisely what happened as I described it to you yesterday, that I started up and it finished repairing itself and recovering from the faulty Windows update installation. Lawn Dog to Jeff, my biggest issue with wireless mice is they go to sleep to save power, and then you go grab the mouse, nothing happens. You click buttons, and who knows what's going to be activated. And like I said earlier, I just went to my junk drawer to find an old USB mouse. And when I say old, this is very old and cheap, but I might be happier with it than the wireless mouse I have. Yeah, the wireless mouse that I'm using for Big Beast is rechargeable. I can't replace batteries, and I've had occasions where it dies while I'm playing Fortnite. But I have a cord here that I can plug it in and save the game, which I have a couple of them. Bluetooth mouse all have the same sleep feature to save power. If I grab the mouse, I want it to be alive right then and there. Yeah. It's a nuisance to have to wake up a mouse. I'm with you on that. Also have an HP Envy desktop. Everything runs fine with Logitech wireless keyboard and mouse as long as no external drive is connected to the USB. A problem that I have had to fix that I've used for some clients is where the transceiver is plugged in the back of the computer and there's other devices plugged in adjacent to it, and the signal's just not getting through the computer and through the desk all the way up to the desktop. So I'll put in maybe a USB extension so that the transceiver can be on top of the desk, or just move the transceiver to the front of the computer. So who do we have here? Jim. Hello, Jim.
I do.
Oh, boy. You sound drowsy or unenthused.
Let me tell you something strange that I've had happen. Sometimes, and I can't repeat this issue because I don't know when it's going to happen again, but sometimes when I turn on the computer for the first time from a completely cold shutdown, before I even log in, once the computer comes up to the lock screen, I won't have the keyboard won't be lit up, the Stream Deck won't be lit up, none of my USB devices will work. So the fix for that is to just hold the power button in, turn off the computer, and turn it back on again. Sometimes my I guess I've got so much USB stuff plugged in, sometimes my computer just gets confused.
All right. Now, here I've gotten back to the computer, and that screen for uninstalling Avast is gone. Still shows up on this screen. I thought there was, here, let's try this refresh and see if that just needs a refresh to see that it's gone. Yep, it is. Jim, did you have any opening comments coming in, or are you just here to hang out?
The only opening comment that I have is that I think I'd want to take this user out behind the woodshed and have a little talk.
Oh, the end user just must love you, huh?
Well, no, they don't love me, but I usually fix what they manage to, shall we say, overcomplicate.
All right. Here's our Canon items: a Canon speed dial, a scan utility. I'm not going to mess with any of those because I don't know what she's using regarding the Canon. The web print thing, I'd love to remove that for anyone that's not actually using it. I haven't come across any clients actually using it. Bonjour, of course, associated with Apple software. I don't know that she's doing anything with her iPhone in conjunction with this computer, so they could go away, but I don't find that they really slow the computer down. Grammarly, she may or may not be using. HD Album Easy, and that's from Canon, and she's probably not using that. An HP Update Utility, iTunes. I'm guessing she's probably not using that, but I don't know that for sure. Let's get on to other stuff. There's some NVIDIA stuff. Oh, OpenOffice. She's using Apache OpenOffice apparently, or it is installed on the computer. So here's PCmatic. We'll go ahead and get rid of, looks like 3 PCmatic items. Now getting rid of this one that looks like the program itself, that might get rid of the other 2 along with it. So we'll go to, wait until the current program is finished being uninstalled. Maybe we need a restart before I can uninstall another program.
You still have a highlighted icon down there.
Green, a vast
Yeah.
icon.
Yeah, I think it's this one right here. I didn't notice that earlier. Maybe it just showed up.
It wants to restart.
Let's see if it was it just closing that? Nope, it was just closing that window, not requiring a restart. We'll probably clean up more files when the computer next restarts. But it looks like all I needed to do was close that window. PCmatic was successfully removed. And that only did that one. Well, let's see. Let me refresh this. Yeah, it uninstalled 2 of them. There's still 1 remaining.
I don't know why people buy that stuff. Jesus.
Yeah, she had actually, when I told her PCmatic was on there, she remembered that from long ago and thought that she had actually bought it in the past. And the Avast, she had bought a license for it. When they brought the computer over here, her and her husband, we discussed antivirus, and I talked to them about that I'm completely satisfied and happy with the way Windows Defender is used, and I don't advise my clients to add any other third-party antivirus. And they got these big smiles on their face because it's been such a nuisance for them to keep up with subscriptions and paying for those products.
Yeah, I've gotten the same thing from people when I tell them that Windows 10 does or Windows 11 doesn't require any other. Like, what? That's nice.
Yeah. Now, TeamViewer host, I discussed TeamViewer with her. She says that she has used TeamViewer to connect from her home computer to her office computer, but not the other way around. And the only thing I find present on this computer is TeamViewer host, not the client portion of it. So I told her I'm going to remove that, and if she needs to set up the remote connection again to the office, that I can help her later with it, or she can just do that. And then she thought also that it might have been from somebody that she was getting remote help from in the past for her computer. I pointed out to her that this shows an install date of September 29th, 2023, very recent, but that's probably just due to an update. Go ahead, Alex.
I was just going to say, it don't make sense to me why her office would allow her to remotely control her office computer from her home computer using unless the office gives out licenses for TeamViewer to its employees, which
Well, there was a TeamViewer was allowing that in the past for personal use, and of course, connecting to the office computer from home, we know that's not personal use, but you could get away with it unless they detected that you were using it for work purposes. And this was probably some time ago. And this is a small office. She works in a church office. She's one of 2 people in the church office. So she has quite a bit of latitude in what she does. Okay.
That's what happened to me. That's what happened to me. I connected to our college domain controller server so often at school that today was, even though I wouldn't consider it commercial use, it was just me managing everything at 2 o'clock in the morning. It didn't like it.
Okay. For those of you wondering, I closed this and then reopened it so I could explain this. When I went to uninstall, it says, please close TeamViewer before uninstalling. If TeamViewer starts automatically with Windows, right-click on the icon in the notification area and choose Exit TeamViewer. So we'll come down to the notification area, which is the correct term for it. It's not actually supposed to be called systray, although that even Microsoft does that in some areas. Okay, so here's TeamViewer. Right click on it and exit TeamViewer. And click exit. I don't care about that don't show again because we're not going to try to close it again. We're uninstalling it. Remove settings and uninstall. Feedback. I don't want to give any feedback. It's selected by default. Like that. Then close. All right, so that's gone. TurboTax, that is one of the things she uses her computer for, except that's a TurboTax 2016. Well, she talked about the Excel worksheet, so I don't know that she's using TurboTax, but that's not going to slow the computer down for it to be present. I think that's about all we're going to be able to do. Now, I haven't turned off notifications yet, so that's another thing that I do to routinely speed a computer up is go into, we'll start with clearing all notifications, go into manage notifications, remove all these check marks, and then turn this off. Now you could just turn this off, but I like to remove the check marks because once you turn it off, you cannot remove these 3 check marks. In case it gets turned on again in the future, I'd rather those check marks not be present. I have not yet come across any clients who suffer at all for not receiving notifications. Rand Israel saying, remember to verify that Windows Defender is enabled. Good point. Scanning through previous chat comments.
You probably need to restart the computer so the advanced gets completely removed.
Right. We'll do that. And Israel saying old version of OpenOffice. Yeah, it's an old version of Microsoft Office, and it's doing what she needs. So not going to try to get her to upgrade that. This model has 4 USB ports on top of the computer along with 6 ports on the back. Well, now that's an interesting point that you bring that up, Ida. There's 2 USB ports here on top, and there's 2 down here, USB 2.0 down here. She had her wireless keyboard mouse transceiver here, and I pointed that out when she brought it in. And just because, and I said this exactly to her, the reason why I point this out to you, it's not to it's not to let you know that it's here, but it's just by the action of me telling you this, it registers in my mind that this is your mouse and keyboard transceiver, not mine, because sometimes I pull out the customer's transceiver and forget to give it back. It was difficult getting it out, and then I noticed the adjacent port, the blue tongue inside that USB port was shoved back into the port. So I pointed out to her that this one over here is not usable. We took the transceiver out and she took it with her. She volunteered. She said, well, how about if I take it? And I said, well, you got to keep track of it so you don't lose it. She said, okay, I will. But then I needed to point out to her, don't put it into this other USB port that is defective. Then another thing we discovered as we were looking at USB ports is this panel here that slides down. There's something wrong with it down here. It's scraping into the paint and it makes scratchy noises. Well, she never goes into there, so that's irrelevant. And I probably won't pursue that. Let's see, were there any others that I need to catch here? Daco is one. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it never fails. Every time I beg and plead with people to not leave their USB dongles or flash drives or whatnot in the computer, they always leave them in there.
Yeah,
CD, USB things.
And this computer had a CD in it. Let me go grab this. I was concerned about making sure that I give the CD back and that it doesn't get misplaced. So I always try to find my intention is to always try to find ways so that I don't forget something. So here's the case cover. And so I tape the CD to the inside of the case cover. That way I know when I pick it up, it's going to be real obvious to me. And it is for the Canon TR4500 printer. I'm guessing she had no idea there was a CD in there. Let's see. So, Daco, I have 1 terabyte of OneDrive storage with Office 365. I have half of it filled with my photos and videos. Well, that's another thing we get to. The hard drive on this computer on the C drive is way too big, and I discovered why that is. So we'll take care of that in a little bit. I have an HP wireless mouse with my HP laptop, no wake-up issues. I despise touchpads. Now, when you go to move that wireless mouse, you probably have to click a mouse button to wake it up. If you just move it, it's not awake yet, or maybe it takes a moment for it to become awake. And that's something that I found to be a nuisance sometimes, just that little bit of a delay. Depending upon your workflow, if you're letting the mouse sit for a minute now and then, and you have to wake it up again every time you go to move somewhere else, I've found myself bugged by that. Let's see, we already did that. We already talked about that. Why does she have multiple languages of open office? Oh, I didn't notice. Oh, that was in the, oh, yeah. There could be a reason for that. Let's go back and look at that. I have a notion there may be a reason for that. Let's get the right keyboard. Must have noticed that in Open Office, Language Pack, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Portuguese, Spanish. They have a mission to, they support a mission to, where is it? I'm trying to remember the name of the country. I don't think it's any of those though. I bet that was by accident. And we can see how much space those language modules are occupying. OpenOffice itself, 342 megabytes. These others taking a little less than 10% of that, of the base program itself. So added together, those probably double the size of it. Yeah, you can uninstall those from here. Well, that's going to make, removing those is going to make her backup fairly smaller. That's not a huge deal as far as the space that it's taking. Oh, commercial time.
Your commercials timer is done.
Muting momentarily.
Your commercials.
Hey,
Okay.
everyone.
Oh, Tim's there. Hello, Tim.
Hello, DougBetts. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So far, so good. Bless. I see there's a commercial going on, right?
Well, it hasn't started yet.
Okay.
And even when it does start, those who have the ad blockers aren't going to see it. And those who have YouTube Prime or whatever that's called.
I have YouTube Prime.
All right, so let's see. Focus your stream, let YouTube insert ads. Where do I go to do this? Oh, this $sign up here. All right, so we're coming up with an ad. I'm going to stop working on that computer until the ad is over. After the ad is over, or even during it, I would appreciate if you type in chat what not only that you're seeing an ad, but what ad you're seeing. There's a multiple language. In this instance, I would maybe contact the person before removing them. I think overall you're not taking up too much space having those extra languages. Potential spam coming in on my cell phone, 250 megabytes. Let's see. To use open document files because it's free. How come you missed my comment? Did I miss a comment from Zvi? Well, it's not a question of whether I did. Obviously I did, because he wouldn't be asking that if I didn't. It says hello to all. Hello to Ken. Hello. No deemed WinZip for extract files in Windows 10 and 11. Yeah, that's why I uninstalled it. I would advise a customer to replace the disk C on C2 folders name found, those created after check disk. Yes. Well, we could, now I've already put in an SSD, so we've already replaced the hard drive. Now the hard drive I'm intending to use as a backup drive, and it's not connected right now because I did a image backup to an external drive, and then I restored that image to the SSD. I considered cloning from the spinning hard drive to the SSD, but I typically wind up opting to restore from the external drive, even though it takes a lot longer. In this case, it was many hours because of how large that backup file was. But I want to know that I have a valid image backup in case I wind up needing it later. So I am interested in using Crystal Disk Info to check and see what's going on with the smart info on that drive. It's a 2 terabyte hard drive, and she doesn't need it. It's just convenient to use it for storing backups if it is in good enough shape for that. Now, all that folder names found is indicating is that the computer somehow crashed and had some damaged files. Check disk can find those or recover those or try to fix them. That doesn't necessarily mean the drive is going bad. It could mean that. So it's worth looking into. And that's a good point, Zvi. But I'm not ready to condemn it just because we saw that some files got, these folders got found after running check disk, because it may have been for a reason other than the drive going bad. Now we know, and I suspect that what happened is the computer was trying to complete the installation of updates, and since it is a slower computer, it was taken longer than she expected, and she force powered off the computer, and it's quite possible that's what caused the damage. But good, thank you for bringing that up. Zavita ran Israel. She's also using an old MS 2007. Rand says true on that. How come you missed my comment? And the explanation, if you really want the reason why I missed it, is because I'm not hitting every comment through chat today. And let's see, and it wasn't in orange. Oh, but he did an emoji and a symbol. It just doesn't jump out at me, Zvi, and I'm sorry. I know you want me to catch those, but I've got a lot going on in my head. So that's the answer as to how come I missed your comment. On the subject of multiple languages, there was a time when OpenOffice during installation, if you weren't paying attention, would install additional language guides. I suspect that's probably what it was. It just was a default. But in this instance, I would maybe contact the person before removing them. You're not taking up too much disk space having those extra languages. Yeah, 250 megabytes, not a huge deal. Backup only perpetuates your previous bad decisions. What? A backup only perpetuates your previous bad decisions. I don't understand that comment, Daco. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't get what you're saying with that. Now you get into the subject that concerns mechanical drives and their accuracy at times, especially when they're overloaded with things to do. They can hiccup. I wish I could tell you some stories. Cloning should be banned. It also clones malware, viruses, and poor decisions in the past. Oh, I see what you're saying there. Yeah, I disagree. If the computer's functioning fine and you're upgrading to an SSD, cloning or image backup and restore is completely fine if you got a fine running computer. It can take a long time, particularly in this case. She uses a program publisher, she mentioned. And I asked her, do you actually have the installation media for that? And she does, but I don't know if it can get installed. Is it showing here? Get the right mouse, Doug. So no, I'm very reluctant to reinstall from scratch. I think that's what you're suggesting there. If you want to upgrade from a spinning drive to an SSD, you think it should be installed from scratch? No. If you got problems with the computer, then maybe. Mechanical hard tracks can only read and write so quickly, yet computers today, what a person might be doing just overwhelms read-write capabilities. Okay, I'm not going to go through. Well, let's see. I'll say that's where I left off. Let's get back to the patient. I wanted to go see. Oh, I got the wrong mouse there. Microsoft Publisher. No, I don't see it. I'll try. There, Microsoft Publisher 2007. So that's the whole Office Suite 2007 that perhaps she has the installation media for, but I'd be very reluctant to count on being able to reinstall that without testing the reinstall first, because it might require activation servers that Microsoft has shut down. All right, where else to go? Oh, Task View. I also want to turn that off. I haven't come across anybody that actually uses that, and that could cause a person to think that they've lost everything that they had, but if they accidentally get to a second desktop. And then that's Windows Media Player. Nobody launches that from the taskbar, so I'll unpin that. That's this one.
Fun fact, I still use Windows Media Player to burn CDs. I still think that is the best way to burn actual CDs, but I've used VLC for everything else.
All right. And you probably actually do launch it without launching it from a media file, right?
That is correct. On the rare occasion, I have to burn a CD.
All right. Then, here's the other thing that I want to get to. And I was saying that a hard drive is, well, an SSD now. The space occupied it is really pretty large, 226 gigabytes. And so I asked myself, what does she have in here that is taking up that much space? And what I saw here is that there's a Windows.old. And I'm guessing, well, no, 140 megabytes. That's not taking up a lot of space. And there's those found files. What about dates on those? Let's go click on the C drive and find out when those happened. Did those happen when she encountered this problem? 2018. Turn off the preview.
I have a question.
All right, now let me just give these. Okay, January 2018 and October 11th, 2023. So yeah, that was during this last instance. All right, go ahead with question, Jim.
How old is this machine again? Roughly?
Oh, yeah, let's go show what we have about that.
I would venture to say it's probably 2011.
Should I just predict? Should I just predict that you're going to say it should be replaced?
Well, it's not just that. That's here, there, back again.
All right.
You were curious about the Windows old. That sounds like the machine had 8 on it originally and was upgraded to 10.
Well, when the computer does a feature update, doesn't that have the Windows.old for a period of time?
Yeah, for a period of time, but
But what was the dates on those folders? Windows.old 2016. Oh yeah, so it was probably
that's probably a Windows 10 upgrade.
Yeah. So the Windows old would be the Windows 7 most likely.
2011, probably 8, but I could be wrong.
Let's see. I'm looking to see if there's any stickers that says what operating system it was. Oh yeah, Windows 8. It came with Windows 8 on it. Very good. So that we can just delete the Windows.old. If it was due to an upgrade, that would be available to delete the old version. Does it show up in advanced option, or do we have to go to disk cleanup to see that?
Probably disk cleanup would be my guess.
But that's so tiny. There's nothing in it. It's only 1.4 megabytes.
That is tiny.
Yeah. So there's nothing of substance in it. Reference assemblies, Microsoft Framework version 3. I'm suspecting that maybe the only reason why it's not deleted is that maybe there's some file in there or something that is not deletable. So if I try to manually delete.
We also have to remember that earlier versions of Windows 10 didn't clean up after itself very well.
Yeah, and that looks like what we're having here. You need permission to perform this action. So try again. It's failing to delete. Okay, well that's not something I'm very concerned about. These found folders, how big are they? 0 bytes. 0 bytes. If I click into them, and so there are some stuff in here that 0 bytes might have simply been because I didn't have permission to look in that yet. 15.1 kilobytes. So now since I have permission now, I do see the 15.1 kilobytes. So definitely not much, which leads me to think that the hard drive is not in trouble. And this one was from 2018. Yeah, there's a song in there. So,
well, assuming the drive is the original drive and the machine is old enough to have had 8 installed on it, I would resist using it any more at this point.
I understand that you would resist using it. I have no problem with it. Just by virtue of age, because I've had computers run a long time. Now, as far as the original drive, yeah, the label on the side of the computer says 2 terabyte hard drive. So yeah, I think that is the original. And they are planning to get a new computer within the next couple of years, but they're not eager to do it.
Nobody's eager to do it. Let's be honest.
Right. Now, underline an exclamation mark, right. I do have external USB drives connected to my HBMV for daily backup, so perhaps that's what's interfered with the Logitech keyboard mouse combo working consistently.
Plug into the same USB port, or not necessarily port, but controller. Yeah, it's possible. I don't remember how many ports each controller handles. I think it's typically 2.
Yeah, that's my impression. Cloning is a fantastic tool. Let's see. I know that I'm really messing up. Oh, Sinvish is here. I tried to disable OneDrive and Edge browser. That didn't work, and just learned OneDrive is using Windows backup to put my info into the cloud. Yeah, it's an interesting comment. I'd like to send me some documentation to back that up, because I don't buy that. You're implying that you don't use OneDrive, you haven't configured it, and you think that Windows backup is putting your info into the cloud. Yeah, you'd have to send me some documentation on that. I'm not buying it. Even though, as far as I remember, I don't have a Microsoft account. Seldom Ball in the minority use Task View heavily. Oh, okay, interesting. I think I have Task View active. Yeah, I have Task View here. The thing that I'm concerned about with clients is that they accidentally open another desktop and they lose everything that they had open. If they're working on something, they don't know how to get back to desktop one. Now, using Task View for the purpose of seeing your past activity, my understanding is Microsoft took that away, and I don't see it available to me currently. I can't go see my previous activity. Is that why you use Task View? Selden? What is a CD? Certificate of deposit. How far behind am I? Costanza's got a link in here. What is this one about? Oh, the i5-3400 processor. If somebody wants to find out the age of this computer, yeah, that's what he was going after. What we should do is give you the serial number so you can look it up that way. So to do that, wrong mouse. Let's do Windows key, CMD, open as administrator, run as administrator, answer yes. And then WMIC, whoops, spell it right, WMIC, BIOS, get serial number. And make that bigger so you can see it. And properties, font, go to 36 points. Here's a serial number, double click on it, Control C for paste. No, I can't paste that into chat because that computer doesn't have access to the chat room. So I'm typing it into chat. Serial number, MXX2410H82. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody has already done the search and found the age of the computer. Mostly I do that exercise just maybe there's somebody around that doesn't know. That's an easy way to capture a serial number. If I was actually working on that computer, I'd double click in the DOS window and then just go paste it into the hp.com website. Questions about the solar eclipse. GeForce is an add-on visual spectrum that is free to add Windows Media Player. Be careful, it can be hypnotizing. Is this latest version of Windows? Well, the reason why it came into me is because it messed up on a Windows update. So no, it's well, it might be the latest feature update. Let's go find out.
It should be 22H2, I think.
Oh, actually, let's do this way. Windows key R and then WinVer 22H2 build 19045.3448, and then go have a look at update settings. And the video I showed you yesterday showed me deferring updates for the maximum time available. Update history. And we have, let's see, last cumulative update for .NET was October 10th. Prior to that, there was an October 4th. The September cumulative update was successful. And this is not showing the failed update. I believe the video that I showed you yesterday listed that failed update.
Well, for what I'm looking at, it says feature update. What was it? 22H2 was, what was it? 11/6/2022. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, up here, feature update to 22H2 successfully installed November 2022.
Okay.
Almost a year ago already.
Yeah. So that's probably what it choked on, was the 23H2 update.